Dave, welcome back to T-Town, man. I hope all is well.
Dude, everything is fine now. Got stuff under control. How's my favorite Bama homer in the country?
Man, we're doing good. We're just we're trying to get over that 44-16 loss, man. It still stings here in T-Town.
Yeah, I wouldn't even look at the score. It's an L or a W, man. It doesn't matter if it was 44-43. It's still a loss.
I know,
it's probably even more lamentful because you had a shot. You know, so hey, there's two teams that are going to be fighting for the national title this year by the numbers. So I think you got a lot to look forward to again this year.
So is it that simple? It's Alabama, Clemson, and everybody else.
It's the most simple I've ever seen it. I can unequivocally tell you, people that are top 10 recruiters do not know how to hire coordinators. They can't do it. They don't know how to do it. You know, and when it comes right down to it, I remember being on the show last year. I said, don't bet on Alabama to win it because of their coordinator pairing. And somehow that came to fruition. But this year, you look at the numbers, it's Alabama and it's Clemson. And anybody else that wins it outside of those two, anybody else is a complete outlier, is somebody that has numbers that has never won a national title this century. So it is super compartmentalized in college football this year, in my opinion.
Dave, how good of a coach is Dabo?
I think he's a great coach. I think the biggest thing is somehow he's been able to keep the staff together. I think that's been the secret for him. You know, I've come on the show a lot and talked about, you know, the what people don't talk about with Nick is his psychology of keeping the focus, not just winning one national title and be satisfied with it, like a Florida State, like a Texas, let's say like a Michigan or these other programs that are one-and-done national champions. You know, Saban's ability to stay hot on recruiting and never get off the gas there, and his ability to psychologically keep everybody. And remember, it's not just him, it's not just his staff, it's not just the players. I mean, it is the athletic department, it's the fans, it's the boosters. Everybody has to buy in to make this thing hum. And every year, psychologically, he keeps people with that national championship focus. There's a hunger there every single year. And for Dabo, he's been able to build something like that. He doesn't recruit anywhere near what Nick does. And Nick is constantly dealing with turnover. And I think for Dabo, I think his biggest thing as a coach is being able to keep everybody together. Not only finding something that works, which is tough. You know, we've seen guys in your division, they can't figure it out. Orgeron hasn't figured it out. His offensive coordinator is still terrible. Auburn can't figure it out. Gus wants to go fast, but he can't because then Steele's going to be a bad defensive coordinator. He can't figure it out. You know, A&M's probably the best combination of OC-DC out there that Alabama's going to face this year. But for Dabo, it's that continuous staff that he's been able to. I don't know how. I mean, why isn't somebody gone and stolen Venables is beyond me. And maybe he just wants to DC his whole life like Bud Foster. I think the biggest thing is for Dabo to be able to keep everybody on track and on board in that program and not having much turnover.
All right, but look ahead in your crystal ball. Do you see Dabo continue the success? So let's say that he loses some of those coordinators. Can he pick up and the next coordinator come in and them not miss a beat? I mean, look ahead 5 years down the road. Will this success continue in Clemson?
I think it's very, very difficult to do so. Right? Because he's relying on elite talent, but it's not Alabama elite talent. Okay, it's Alabama's recruiting and everybody else. No question about it. When we saw it last year, even with the coordinators, what I felt weren't great coordinators to begin with, they still had the talent to almost overcome all of it. So with Clemson, they've moved from a mid-teens recruiter, which is where Clemson was when Dabo took over, into a fringe 8, 9, 10 level recruiter. And yeah, they're still getting some killer blue chip guys, but overall, you know, they're still not even a top 5 recruiter yet. Now, if you're saying 5 years down the road, Venables is gone, you get some coaching turnover, and they're still at this level of talent, no, I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think they can just simply go into the masses and recharge it, you know, and just keep it going. I think it's too difficult to do that. Maybe he catches lightning in a bottle, but, you know, I mean, look in your backyard. We just saw Kirby Smart go next man up. Really? Next man up? Georgia? Dude, you're way bigger than that. You got way too much money for that. It's not next man up. It's best man up. And I saw Oregon right here in my backyard. I saw Oregon go next man up for how long? And it worked at first. Mark Helfrich's had a national title team his first year, and it has slowly gone downhill every year since. It's taken them 8 years plus to try to come back from that. So I think one of the big secrets for Dabo is being able to keep that staff together. But 3, 4, 5 years from now, if that staff starts leaving, if they start getting promoted, if they can get better jobs, if he can't keep it together and is still recruiting at this level, albeit a high level, no. I don't think Clemson is beating Alabama in 4 years, all things being equal, if Alabama is still recruiting at this level and Clemson has a whole new coaching staff still headed by Dabo Swinney.
But you hear a lot of people say, well, Nick Saban is winning because he's got better talent. I mean, but there's a reason why he's got better talent, because he's a great recruiter, right?
Well, exactly. Now, I would say for one game, would I take Nick Saban as the head coach for one football game? No, probably wouldn't. But if somebody said, hey, who would you take as the foundation of starting a new program? Oh, you're dang right. It's Nick Saban and nobody else, because there's nobody that can recruit like him. There hasn't been, and I can't even see it in the foreseeable future. Everywhere he's been, not just Alabama, LSU. I mean, LSU won a national title. Why? Nick Saban's recruiting. Okay? Alabama's won their national title. Why? Nick Saban's recruiting. It's been more important than coaching. Recruiting is more important than coaching. People don't even realize how good of a job he's done in Alabama. Most people think Alabama's always recruited at a high level. Have another tequila shot. See, they were in the mid-teens. They were Clemson-level recruiting when he took over. The very next year, boom, #1 class. Just that fast. So, he may not be the best single-game coach of all time, but overall, recruiting wins games. He's the best recruiter. He should be the first guy you pick to start a program and try to win a national title.
All right, we're talking today, Bartoo, CFBMatrix. CFBMatrix, as he looks at a unique way of looking at college football. All right, so here we go. Alabama-Clemson on a neutral field playing for the championship down in New Orleans. Who do you like?
I like the team that has the best margin of victory on the season.
Oh, so it's yeah, but I mean, how do you do that with the schedule? Because both of them's got so easy schedules, though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know who had the best margin of victory last year?
Was it Clemson?
Clemson. Okay, you know who had the best margin of victory the year before? Alabama. And the selection committee will say, oh, we can't use margin of victory. Yeah, but you can use some other efficiency stat that's basically the same thing, right? There's nothing in college football that correlates more to winning and losing during the season than margin of victory. You find the teams that are the best at offense and the best at defense, and I'll still say, I think it was, what was the Alabama team? Was it 2007? Which was your just absolute killer year? It wasn't even fair.
Yeah, well,
or 2009.
2009 was our championship year. 2007, we were 7-6.
And I probably, forgive me, I'm getting old. I've repeated this on this show a million times probably, but that season was the best football we've probably seen maybe this century. They led the country in scoring efficiency on offense. They were number one, okay? They were and last year they weren't even number one. In spite of all, they were number one scoring efficiency on offense. They were number one on defense. And 150 teams, they set the ball the second slowest of any team. They were death. That was amazing. And I think that's what you're going to see Alabama going back to. You're not going to see these records broken. The stuff that happened last year, trying to score a lot, I think it's going to go back to ball control. I think that's where Nick is happiest. I think that's where he thinks he plays his best football. That's the best Alabama has been. Not when they're throwing up a ton of points, not when they're throwing up a ton of yards, not when they're running up a lot of plays. It's when they get up 20-0 and you simply don't have enough time to come back. The game is over. And so I think with Sarkisian coming back in, with the DC you have right now, I think everything's going to slow down. I think we're going to go back to better Alabama football. But if you're talking about who's going to be winning a football game come playoff time, obviously look at your recruiting, okay, because talent wins. But look at who is overall most efficient in offense and defense. And really the easiest way to do it, look at a margin of victory. I don't even care what the schedule is. It doesn't matter. You guys got to get this whole strength of schedule crap out of your mind. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. I mean, the team who had the strongest strength of schedule last year, lost the national championship game. Okay? There's no correlation between winning and losing and strength of schedule. You should be happy. If you want to win a national title, you should be happy you're playing Duke. Because guess what? You're not going to get hurt. There's going to be a lot of depth, getting a lot of playing time. It's going to be an easy W. That's what you want. Look at Clemson. They're playing nobody. That's what you want. You play 12 regular season games for the right to try to play 3 more. Nothing more.
Let's go to Georgia. What do you expect for the Dogs over in Athens?
Regression. I expect regression. We just talked about a couple things here. Continuity in offensive and defensive coordinator. Now, Kirby's still probably going to be calling plays. He'll still be running the defense. You still have an elite defensive coordinator there. But this next man up for the offensive coordinator. Now, I didn't think Chaney was that good. So, I don't know whether to consider this an upgrade or a downgrade. But it's still going to be something new. And there's a guy who's calling the plays that has no experience. So, in my opinion, Georgia had an opportunity to go out and find best available, and they went next man up. And I hate that, especially at that level. You only have – you've seen it with Alabama. You don't get a second chance at winning a national championship if you lose. You only get so many shots every year, and for Kirby Smart, he's only going to get so many shots. Why try to groom an offensive coordinator for 2 or 3 years and hope that it comes out right? Go get the best guy. So I think from a Georgia standpoint, I think they're probably – I think by the Vegas odds, they're about favored, third most likely to win a national title?
Yes.
Something like that, third or fourth.
Third or fourth, right there.
They got the talent. They got the talent to do it, but at the bottom line, nobody's ever done it with this lack of experience on the OCDC side of it. So, Georgia, I expect them to underperform expectations this year because of the turnover.
Oh, Dave Bartoo, man. It's been a long off season here in T-Town, man.
We're just getting warmed up, man. We can go through every SEC team like this. You just have me back on. You know my number.
I know.
Call anytime.
Hey, but real quick, is it LSU coming here? Is Alabama's hardest team or most difficult on the regular season? Or is it Alabama on the road in College Station or in Auburn?
Oh, dude. Okay. Talent is about even. Okay? I mean, you can answer the question yourself. Talent's about even. LSU's a little bit more talented. LSU has an elite defensive coordinator. So does A&M. They're the 2 of the best defensive coordinators in college football right now. A&M has a B-grade offensive coordinator. LSU, D-grade. You just don't have a good defense with LSU. And it's on the road. I think that's almost a rhetorical question. I think overall the best talent coaching combination outside of Alabama right now in your division is A&M. That's going to be your toughest football game.
Wow. Hey, Bartoo, man, this is fun always to be able to talk some college football, man. And looks like you got a pretty good honeydew list, man. Looking at your Twitter account, you got the waterfall going. You got all the vegetables. Looks like you're dominating the grill, man. I mean, looks like you're
Here's the best football part, though, is this little insider thing. You know how about November you start talking about coaching hot seats and everything?
Yes.
I privately consult for ADs and head coaches all over the place for analytics. I got a call yesterday from an AD, obviously nameless, already asking about if my coach doesn't hit X, who are my target to replace him. Already getting ready for it.
Wow. Well, it's the first time
when
since
somebody goes, everybody thinks, this is the result of a bad season. Now, ADs think about this long before anybody starts talking about it, brother.
Well, it's the first time since 2006 that every coach is returning in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, and that's what I said would happen. At the beginning of last year, everybody's talking about who's to be the first to get fired. You look at it and nobody's getting fired. Nobody's getting fired. And I don't know who it might be this year, but
Gus. I don't think he'll ever make it to November.
Yeah, Gus could come off a 12-0 season, and you'd be saying Gus.
Yeah, but
it's
look
in
at
your DNA. It's locked in. You hate the Gus bus. I know.
No. We need Gus, but I look at this schedule. I mean, look at this schedule. I mean, and it's. I mean, this thing is all right. They got to play your boys here, Oregon, coming up August the 31st. Then they get
a W.
Then they get Tulane and Kent State. That's easy. All right.
Yep.
Then they got to go to College Station.
Loss.
Mississippi State at home.
Win.
At Florida on the road.
Loss.
At Arkansas.
Win.
At LSU.
Loss.
Ole Miss at home.
Win.
Georgia at home.
Win.
Samford at home, which will be easy.
Right.
And then Alabama's coming to town.
Yeah. So 8-4.
And 8-4
skirting the top 25.
Yeah, and 8-4 will be enough to keep him his job. See, Auburn will tell you that they're more than 8-4, but history tells you they've only had one season. One time in the history of their program, they went back-to-back with double-digit wins, and that was 88-89. That's it. But they're more of a consistent. They're more closer to 8-4 than they are a 10-win season. So anyway, Dave, I appreciate you, man. This is fun.
You know where I'm at, brother. Anytime, man. Thanks for having me on.